Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SCOOPS AFLW Trade Wrap Day 5. We're 2 days left now of the trade period after today. Today being Monday, ends on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Victorian time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the bell for all notifications. We've had one official trade go through today. Tara Bohanna, the Suns captain, has officially joined Carlton in a trade that makes 0 sense for the Gold Coast Suns. Now we can talk about points for academy players, but overall, it just makes no sense. Tara Bohanna is the skipper. She may be 30 years of age, but to let her out for essentially picking the 40 to 50 range is absolutely outrageous. Jazz Grierson has joined the Swans as a delisted free agent. She's played 61 AFLW games in her career. And some trade updates involving Mattea Breed, Ellie Runnels, Louise Stevenson, Tayla Harris, Emily Sia, his name is now brought up in discussions, Taylor Levy, Imogen Brown, Montana Berylson, a new name to the mix, and Amber Clark. All right. So let's start off with the trade. Captain Tara Bohanna has joined the Blues with pick 56. Gold Coast get 41. This is mind-boggling why the Suns have done this. They've let their captain go. They let one of their best forwards go. And just a leader and a good player in general. She's had 2 years in a row of an emotional speeches saying how much she loves the club. Now, I don't know who orchestrated this move. She had met with like 6 other clubs, I would presume, but really can't presume anything. Maybe they told her to leave and therefore she had a lot of options because, she's a good player and a leader and a captain. Gold Coast, no wonder they lost their coach, Cam Joyce. What the hell has happened to them? From playing finals in their first season, essentially, and then doing this. Like, it just makes no sense. They lost some games by close margins, like Collingwood, for example, but now they're stuffing up the trade period right now. Now, while I record this, it's just been posted by the Suns that Charlie Rowbottom, Daisy Darcy, and Neve McLaughlin have all signed contract extensions. So on to those girls. Charlie Rowbottom was a key figure in terms of being talked about whether she would stay or join the Swans, where her brother plays obviously in the AFL side. Now, the post doesn't say how long the years are for all three. I would presume Charlie's got at least a 3-year deal. If there's anything under that, I'd be worried if I'm Gold Coast that she's going to eventually leave. So, yeah, Carlton win this easily. They've essentially got Suns captain, the 30-year-old forward, Tara Bohanna, for free, essentially. And Gold Coast basically got nothing for her. So, I mean, that's just poor list management from the Suns. I'm sorry. There's no way about it. They'll probably argue it's part of the points for Tara Hetherington, Mia Salisbury, and Havana Harris. 3 good players they'll bring into the club. Tanya Hetherington, sorry. But, it still doesn't make sense. They could have got a pick in the 20s from Carlton, whatever Carlton's pick in the second round is. If they haven't got one, then make them do some work to where they're going to have to get one. Just makes no sense. Now, the Swans have signed delisted giant Jazz Grierson as a free agent. She played 61 games, as I said. I mean, players as delisted free agents are, if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. Jazz has obviously played 61 AFLW games, so she's capable at the level, clearly. Will she play every week? Maybe not. Maybe if the Swans find her a role. I would like to know where the Swans want to play her, because then that would all depend on whether she would get a consistent game or not. Time will tell. So, delisted free agent Jazz Grierson from the Giants has joined the Swans. Now, there was talk of a 4-way trade being lodged about an hour and a half ago. It's well past the deadline, so unless it gets posted randomly while I'm recording this or after, this trade will go through tomorrow. It's a 4-way trade between Adelaide, GWS, Hawthorn, and the Bulldogs, and involves 4 players: Najwa Allen, Taylor Levy, Eleanor Brown, and Louise Stevenson. Essentially, it would have Adelaide receive 39 and 43 and give up Najwa Allen, Taylor Levy, and 48. So, essentially, you've got 39 and 43 for Allen and Levy and give it up 48 in the process. So, I don't see how the Crows win this at all. Only way you could say that is if 39 and 43 ends up becoming a pick in the 20s. And even then, it still may not be a win. All right. So then the Giants received Taylor Levy and Eleanor Brown for 39. I thought Taylor Levy is around a pick 39 range. Eleanor Brown didn't play a game for the Dogs this year. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't type. But Taylor Levy essentially for 39 works well for the Giants, really well. The Hawks get Najra Allen for Louise Stevenson. She became a key part in their forward line a little bit, Louise Stevenson from the Hawks. And it'll be interesting to get for the Bulldogs. So Najra Allen, though, an experienced premiership player from Adelaide. This is real line ball, this one. Allen's got the runs on the board throughout her career, but Louise Stevenson had a better year this year and wasn't injured, really. So the Bulldogs received Louise Stevenson in 46, lose Eleanor Brown in 43. Well, Eleanor Brown didn't play a game this year, so that wouldn't be a loss for the Bulldogs. And they lose 43 for 48 and Louise Stevenson. So, I mean, Stevenson for a pick in the 40s is about right. The Bulldogs do need some key position players, in particular down forward. And Louise Stevenson will probably play up forward to help not debutantes, but first year plays Christy Lee, Weston Turner, Elaine Grigg, Annalene McKee gets some support up forward as well. So who would win this? I would say definitely the Giants because they got Taylor Levy, who's probably the best player of the four, especially in the back half of this year, for 39, and Eleanor Brown. If she was to play, and even if she doesn't, that's still a good trade. There'll be an added bonus. The Crows definitely lose on this. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I think this is a poor move from the Crows, giving up both players, Allen and Levy, for a pick in the 40s, essentially, and giving up 48 in the process. Makes no sense for the Crows. That's just bad move from them. Obviously, I had their people on that at the club through the list management. I would love to find out why they did that. I mean, you know, they're a great team for a reason. I would just love to know why they made this move. But yeah, very interesting. They will have some picks though as well. Now, some other moves that may happen or will happen. Collingwood are making a late play for impressive Hawks midfielder Mattea Breed and Docker Airlie Runnels. First, Mattea Breed. I said St Kilda, this is the player you should be targeting. Now it looks like Collingwood are the favourites and are the favourites for Mattea Breed. Mattea Breed had a great season for the Hawks. Now, I mentioned a few other Hawks players that are leaving. Louise Stevenson, who's kind of came out of nowhere to leave. Mattea Breed, we've known for the last 5 days that she's on the way out, most likely. But before that, was never mentioned of leaving. And I would have thought Mattea Breed was someone the Hawks would want to lock up on a 3 or 4 year deal. And she had a really impressive season this year for the Hawks. But I cannot stress enough that, you know, Eliza West, the Hawks got, as the best trade recruit of the trade period. Hawthorn now could be making one of the dumbest decisions this trade period by not offering Mattea Breed a new contract, to the point where now she's exploring her options off the back of that. Makes zero sense. Mattea Breed is a great player. I mean, and if Collingwood can rub it in some more to Hawthorn by getting her for a pick in the 30s or 40s, wow. But the Pies did finish on the bottom of the ladder. So I think off the top of my head, I know they did another trade late last week with that Lily Mithen trade. So I believe off the top of my head, they got a pick in the 30s. And if they were to give up that pick, that's an absolute steal for the Pies. I think they got 22 off the top of my head or something like that in the trade as well. Or maybe that was Geelong. But there was a pick in the 30s for sure. So, yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome if they were to get that. That's right. Collingwood got picked 22 and 28 and 45, lost 37 and 19. Okay. So if you offer 28 for Mattea Breed, Collingwood, that's a big win. Hawks will ask for 22. And to be honest, if they ask for 22, I would just, ask Hawthorn, well, okay, we'll give you 22 and 45. You give us Mattea Breed and a pick in between that you have. And if you don't have one, you got to go searching for one. Or maybe the pick you get for Louise Stevenson, which is, they won't get one. But if they get a pick in the 40s, you throw that in as well. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. But Mattea Breed looks like she's going to join the Pies in what would be... Now, go back to what I was going to say. So, Eliza West was the steal of the trade period. If the Pies could get Mattea Breed for a pick in the late 20s, or even later than that, Mattea Breed could be the steal of the trade period for the Pies for 2025 and beyond. I think we got a steal with Charlotte Bascaran from the Hawks as well. So the Hawks are losing some players. Now, obviously, as I said, Louise Stevenson requested to trade to the Bulldogs in that trade that I mentioned. The Pies are looking at Docker Airlie Runnels, speedster. This one is early days, so they're showing late interest. To be honest, it'll probably happen. So it could be a handy addition for the Pies as well. For Runnels, I'll say a pick in the 30s will be about right. But teams could offer picks in the 40s. The other club gets a pick back and benefits the club that are losing the players. So they'll work it out and get it done. Now, in a big twist, Melbourne have offered Tayla Harris a new deal, which is great for her because I know for a fact that she wanted to stay at Melbourne. She didn't want to go to Collingwood. She doesn't want to go to Hawthorn. If she's forced to go, her preference is Hawthorn. Hawthorn didn't want to come to the table with pick 14 to Melbourne. That's fair enough, I guess, for Hawthorn. So Taylor will look like she would stay at the Demons unless there's another twist. We'll have to wait and see. We're talking about twists and moves that haven't been discussed all trade period. Came out today that Essendon is making a late play for Tigers small forward and very popular figure at the Pies, at the Tigers. Amelia Yasia, a dangerous small forward who can run, who's very experienced, is good around goals. It kicks a lot of goals for the Tigers. They're potentially losing Paige Scott to Richmond. So maybe it's a straight swap. Maybe some picks are involved. If I'm Richmond, I would definitely be keeping Amelia Yasia over Paige Scott all day, every day. I'll have to see what the go is there. Maybe Yasia wants to leave as well. We'll have to wait and see. The Giants will get Taylor Levy, as I mentioned in that 4-club trade. Just a few more to wrap us up this video. Tiger Imogen Brown, who was a late signee for the Tigers. She's a key defender, a really good player. Was a part of the Swans Academy. As I said, was a late signing for the Tigers. Unfortunately, got injured early on in the piece after joining Richmond, and then played some late practice matches or scratch matches for the Tigers late in the season and when they were playing finals in the first week. I'm sure the Tigers don't want to lose Imogen Brown, but looks like she's set to join the Swans, back where it all started her journey in the Swans Academy. Imogen would be a great get for the Swans as well, as they've made a few more moves with Jazz Grierson, Darcy Maloney, so the Swans are active this trade period. But this one baffles me that they would be considering this move, and that's letting Montana Berylson go and to Richmond of all teams. So it looks like that Imogen Brown and Montana Berylson may be a straight swap with some picks involved. Montana Berylson, I thought, was harshly treated by the Swans throughout the season when she was dropped. She had some really good games. I can't remember the exact stats she had, but the most recent game she was dropped for, she had really good numbers in the middle part of the season. I think it was around the Essendon game. They were playing at Whitten Oval, and I was at those games, and Berylson was playing really well. And she was just dropped and only got a game in the last round against West Coast. So, she could be off to Richmond. And I tell you what, though, overall, if Richmond are to gain Paige Scott and Montana Berylson at the expense of only losing Yasia, I mean, it could work, and it adds an extra option in their forward line, which is already dangerous with Caitlin Greiser. Montana McKinnon, who was a traded in recruit from last year from the Crows, unfortunately done her ACL in the practice matches. She'll be back at some point when the season starts again. So you have Caitlin Greiser. You have a few others that float through the forward line as well. That could be a dangerous side for the Tigers heading into 2025. Last one, contracted bomber Amber Clark is still a chance to get to the Saints, and I would love for Amber Clark to join the Saints. A small forward, is very quick, and that's the type of player St Kilda needs in the men's and in the women's team in their forward lines, because that's what's lacking in the women's side, especially is the small forwards in terms of the speed. And Amber Clark would bring that. She's contracted though for another year, but talks are it's more likely to happen than it was a few days ago. So I'm not saying it's definitely happening, but if it was to happen, I'd be really happy. But go for Mattea Breed as well. Make a late bid. It's not going to hurt you to try. Try and get someone else out of another club. Make bold moves, Saints, and we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, and till the next video, take care and go